roadmap. We have gone to an agreement to proceed. In this month, in February, we're doing what we call community organization. Deborah and I came here for a first date to get to know you, to tell you a little bit about ourselves, to begin to open the conversation and build trust. We're coming back in March, when we are going to meet again with the professional and lay leaders within the communities in group interviews or conversations, but more importantly with AMCA, with people who are in the system, parents and kids, people who have never been in the system. Will be identified actually by people who are in. Everybody knows somebody who is a neighbor, someone who is not participating. We want to talk to them. We want to talk about the people who were in and dropped out. What do we want to talk about? We want to talk, it's not an evaluation of the current programs. It's about what could be. And we're going to compile the assets that you have. The next phase is the dream. We're coming back in May to give you a refracted or focused snapshot of what we learned and where we see the opportunities. And you are going to use this as the fodder to begin your vision of where you could go. And then in design and destiny, the last two stages, what you're going to do is have the opportunity to design to create new options to move toward the goals that you've set. So I mentioned community organization. We're creating an infrastructure. In discovery, we're going to gather information, review written materials. We're going to do the focus groups, and we're going to need your help to identify people with whom we should speak. This is not an intensive, full-blown research project. We are not looking to get a totally scientifically representative sample. We want to hear voices, and we want to make sure that you help us identify a wide enough range of voices from within your community, from people who you wish were within your community, to lay out. So the questions are, what would success look like? What is an example of a really great educational or Jewish educational experience so that we have a concrete example of what success looks like? In the end, since the age group is up to age 17, when these people go away to university, what do you want them to know, feel, do, believe? And what do they want to know, feel, do, believe? What are the incentives to participation? What are the obstacles? Those are the kinds of things we need to know to help you capitalize on the resources that you have. Then we're coming back to the summit. The summit is, we're doing it a different way here in Toronto, in keeping with the community's nature. What we're going to, usually it's a half-day Sunday retreat event. Instead, we're going to do it, we're going to see how this works. We're going to do it on the 14th in the evening. We're going to give back the snapshot at an open forum. And then on the 15th in the morning, we're going to be talking about what you've learned from it and begin the visioning process. So that brings us now to the starting point. The development of a coalition of the willing, a vanguard of institutions, entrepreneurs, educators who run programs, who want to partner in this exciting endeavor. You've all received the invitation to submit an expression of interest. And so I'm going to let Ed tell you a little bit more about it. One last statement. As I said, we do this differently in every community. In a couple of communities, they decided to focus on particular age cohorts, like the post-bar and bat mitzvah age cohort, and all the institutions and other providers within the community that provide services for those groups are the ones who are working with us. In other communities, it's a geographic such. So here it might have been the 905. In Toronto, and in smaller communities, we've worked with the whole community. In Toronto, the decision that we've made collaboratively is to work with what we call a coalition of the willing. In the first stage, the first phase of this, we would be working with 6 to 12 entities who would be at the vanguard, who would be the first to be willing, who are at a stage of readiness and excited about innovation and don't have a lot of other stuff that get in the way right now and want to work with us on the first iteration of these ventures, which will ripple out, God willing, over time. I'm going to let Ed talk a little bit more about what this means and how one becomes part of the coalition.
Thank you. So, we've asked you to complete what we're calling an expression of interest. It's not an RFP. We're not asking you to come forward with a full-out plan. It's not like you're going to a banker and you're asking for a loan and you've got to put a whole bunch of financial statements out. What we're saying is, tell us who you are, tell us that you're interested, and tell us why and how you think you can help be a strong participant in this process. We're talking about our children between 4 and 17 as the age cohort, anywhere in the GTA, and indeed places that we're not now is where we want to go. There's a preparedness we're calling for change and to looking at how to do things differently, to work together to try and form new models, new partnerships and delivery. There is because as Leora spoke of, it's a process that we're going to be meeting again and again a couple of times to help develop the dreams and the ideas and support each other. So you need someone to know who your designated team leader would be and what their and they have to be prepared for a read it off here. It's easier. To attend and participate both in person and virtually through email as we go through this process. We're going to need data. We're going to need your help to help provide some of that data. We were talking on Monday about there's a number of markets that you know how to reach, but we don't know how to reach, and we want to find ways to help together to reach these markets. You need to help and tell us how to do that. We need the data that you have. Together we need the data you have. So it's recruiting the players for the discovery and the dream phases. It's participating in change and innovation projects because we are looking to, and a goal, a target to look for is saying, can we double the numbers and increase participant satisfaction. An important part is a willingness and a readiness to say, yes, we're going to bring what we can learn and what we have learned to the table so that JESNA can actually add that to their research bank and share it across North America. An important condition, part of why we're here together, and that was JESNA made it very clear to us. This is what we're about, and so we need to be able to do this. From the Federation's perspective, it's very important that you, of course, embrace the UJ Federation mission, being a leader within the Jewish community for philanthropic and volunteer development, and supporting the state of Lincolnville as a Jewish homeland. Acceptance of Federation, of course, in our fundraising initiative, as our fundraising role, and acknowledging Federation's role in that in the materials. We do ask, and naturally, we're looking at new ideas, and so we put this last line about compliance or relevant public regulations because we don't know what's going to come up with. If you come up with a rock climbing program that you think you can instill Jewish educational values and learning through that, well, it's a natural, but you have to recognize that there's public regulations and that's part of the ideas that we need to develop. So these are the kinds of factors that we're going to be looking at as we ask you to speak to in the expression of interest. What have you done? How have you embraced innovation before? How have you come together working in the community? What markets do you think you have a strength and asset that you can help bring to that table? And that's what we're looking to have going forward.